This is Ravy once again with Michael Bolton III, and we're bringing you here the second to last match of the first half of today. Winner's Day in the prelims of Alliance Tournament 10. We've got a great match for you. It's Verge of Collapse versus Darkside. Darkside, of course, the team that came in basically third place, and a lot of people consider it to be second place last year. And Verge of Collapse, who have a lot of strong tournament experience behind them. Michael Bolton, why don't you tell us a little bit about the teams we've got here?
Well, for Verge of Collapse, we have a Kronos, a Brutix, an Oneros, a Sentinel, an Enyo, and an Incursus. And for Darkside, we have a Slipnir, a Cyclone, a Scimitar, a Saber, a Jaguar, and a Keres. Match is about to start in 15 seconds. Both these teams have warped in at range from the beacon, with the Scimitar and the Keres warping in at obviously max range of 50 kilometers from the beacon. And the match is starting.
Yeah, we've got the battle cruisers for Darkside have warped in about 30. The Kronos has warped in at 20. These teams aren't too far away from each other, but that Kronos is going to have to move across the field pretty fast to be able to get his damage applied. The Kronos, in a lot of ways, is similar to the Vindicator. It has the same web bonus. It has a great amount of blaster damage, but it doesn't quite have the sensor strength. It depends on if we're going to see ECM drones. We haven't seen any yet, but it may or may not actually matter too much, that sensor strength in this match.
Yeah, I think that the only option here for the Darkside team is to really just abuse the fall-off on these Cyclones and Slipnirs. If they get in close, they're going to get eaten up here.
It's going to be hard, though, for medium autocannons to outrange Null on large blasters, though. So we'll have to see what happens. At the moment, the Darkside team is very cautious. They're hanging back. The crit team is moving, Verge of Collapse team is moving a lot closer to Darkside, but the teams haven't really burned at each other as you would kind of expect from two rush teams. Very cautious play from Darkside.
Yeah, no. We're going to have to see who breaks the stalemate first. Darkside likely trying to Verge of Collapse. Yeah, Darkside trying to abuse its carries. My bad. Trying to damp out what he can. Get set up, get just the right engagement so that when these two do meet, it's as favorable as possible.
We're seeing shield maintenance bots out for the Darkside team. They're going to use that to augment the repping from their Scimitar. I think it's worth noting that in the experience that I've seen in testing, when you have two rush teams facing each other, it is generally a good strategy not to rush right into the other side. To let the other side come into you, get your choice of targets a bit earlier, be able to maneuver a bit better. That kind of cautious play is actually very smart on Darkside's part, although it does lead to a fairly boring start. I think once we see these two teams lock in, once we start seeing one of these ships get wed by the Kronos, we're going to see a lot of DPS applied, though.
Yeah, no. Now, do you think that the decision to go with a Kronos over a Vindicator to maybe squeeze in the couple extra points on some of these electronic attack sprigs was a good choice for this team?
It's a somewhat risky choice. If you come up against an ECM team, then it's going to hurt you. But they didn't come up against the ECM team here, so I think it's going to work out well. In this matchup, the Kronos is going to be able to replace a Vindicator in a lot of ways. It's also going to be interesting to note whether or not the Kronos has armor repper on it. Kronoses have a bonus to active repping, so it's possible that he may try to have an active tank to go alongside his Oneros. It's also possible he's just going to have big plates. We'll have to see once DPS starts getting applied to him.
Very true. It looks like a Verge of Collapse has noticed the Slipnir from Darkside lagging behind, has decided to make a move on at the Enyo, charging in. CCP streaks in local. I highly recommend shooting someone. Very true. Shooting someone is usually a good
Generally
way
a good
to win
tactic.
a match. So we'll see if they can close range on this lag behind Slipnir as the Darkside team turns around to try and cover their backsides. Darkside actually pinned up against the side of the arena or very close to it, so not the best positioning when they chose to move back so quickly at the beginning of the match.
Yes, getting close to the edge, it does allow you to sometimes draw your opponent outside of the edge of the arena, the way the Goons did, but that doesn't look like something that Verge of Collapse is going to fall for. That Kronos has now gotten on top of the Sleipnir. He's nuding, taking advantage of the lots of utility high slots the Kronos has, and he's also doing significant damage. But it's at the moment being tanked just fine by Faffy Waffy and his Sleipnir. Or sorry, it's Morden Sleipnir.
Very true. We have the Oneros taking shield damage. Not seeing any boost effects yet, so likely... Oh, what am I seeing there? Was that a boost, or was that just a... What was that, Drivey? I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll take a look at him now. He
That
does.
was yeah,
No, he's armor tank. He's armor tank. So the shield
yeah.
loss he's taking isn't going to be a big deal. But we'll see what happens once he starts dropping a bit further. Damage has been slow to apply, but getting all this damage onto the Verge of Collapse and Neros is going to be something that is going to be a very big advantage for Darkside if they can get him down. We are seeing armor maintenance bots being used to keep this Neros up, so he's going to have a pretty stout tank. It's going to be hard for Darkside to take him down quickly.
Very true. Yeah, that was just I think a medium shield maintenance bot tricking me into thinking he had some sort of booster fit onto his shields, making me look like a dummy. Faffy Waffy is into almost a 10% shields. He's in big trouble.
Yeah, he's
Reps are coming
repping
in,
that as
but
hard as he
DPS
can.
is too much.
He's got his own local repper, he's got the Scimitar on him, and he's got shield maintenance bots, but still he has a Chronos and a Brutix in it, basically 0 on him, so that's going to be a lot of damage. This Brutix is gun fit. It's not one of those utility Brutixes that we've seen earlier in the tournament with nothing but ganglinks and newts. So we're seeing a lot of DPS applied to him, but however, the crit Oneros is also in half armor, so it's going to be a question of which one of these two drops first.
Yeah. I should point out that at the very beginning of the match, Darkside was having trouble logging in one of the pilots. I'm not sure which, but it looks like everyone is logged in from the team, so it didn't hurt them too much at this point, considering how close that Oneros is to death and the fact that this Slipnir is clawing its way back to life, back and forth, and in a dangerous game with its armor.
Yeah, I will note this Oneros is right in the middle of the fray. It is smack dab in the center of all these ships fighting here. If I was him, I'd be trying to get some range, though it may be that he's trying to use the Chronos to defend him, allow him that to bring tacklers off him, but either way, it's getting him right in close to these Sleipnirs and Cyclones. Faffy Waffy is dropping very quickly, though, and it looks like he's about to go down.
Yeah. In between these cycles, he's just getting little chunks taken out of the structure, and there he goes.
And there goes that. He is, by the way, the captain of the Darkside team, so we'll see if they've got another target caller able to pick up for him. I expect from a team like Darkside they will, but it's going to be something that may cause a disruption in the match, losing their target caller.
If they want any chance of winning at this point, they need to drop this Oneros immediately. With their DPS from the other Slipnir taken down, they don't quite have as much and need to finish him up because they will not be able to kill anything else on the field if that Oneros remains.
Actually, at the moment, what they're doing is shooting the armor maintenance bots that are on that Oneros. The Jaguar for Darkside is orbiting the Oneros at close range, shooting the armor maintenance bots, and that's the last of them. So that Oneros no longer has any armor maintenance bots on him, and with that, the Jaguar and the remaining DPS should be able to take him down, and as we see him drop into structure now.
Yeah, no. We can see here the Chronos acting just like a Vindicator, taking huge chunks out of Morden's Slipnir's shields. So much damage from these blaster battleships. Do you think of the battleship choices, do you think that they're the best determined? Actually, never mind. He's going to die real soon. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, Morden's dropping through armor. He's still repping. He's still getting repped, but there he goes. He's dead now. And that's almost all the DPS gone for the Darkside team. That's going to hurt. It is, however, something we should say that both Verge and Collapse and Darkside are extremely close to having enough points to go through. Darkside actually now has enough points, and they've guaranteed themselves going through. And with that last kill, Verge of Collapse now has done it as well. So both of these teams are going to be going through to next weekend.
Yeah, excellent moves by both teams, both highly skilled teams bringing pretty interesting setups. I like the dichotomy that they had of the rush and how they were going to try and play each of their advantages based on their setups. The max range there was actually not as close to the edge of the arena as I thought, only 105, but I think the positioning played a big role here, choosing the proper engagement.
Even if you're not drawing people out of the arena, letting them come to you is still generally a good strategy for rush teams when you're facing another rush team. So that was good play on their part, but it looks like Darkside is still not going to be able to handle this. They're losing, they just lost a Saber there, and they've already lost their Jaguar, even while the Scimitar is still up. I don't think they're going to be able to last much longer. Just the damage that this, not Vindicator, Chronos, easy slip of the tongue, can do when it gets the target webbed is just too high to be repped by the Scimitar.
Yeah, I think that it's really nice to see these teams that are high-skilled teams not bringing the sort of shutout teams that they could bring, trying to knock their opponent out of the tournament. They're bringing these brawler sets to ensure that they at least get some kills and make it on to the next round. If you had to make the choice, what do you think PL is going to bring?
I will just quickly note the Scimitar pilot for Darkside, or for Darkside, has flown out of the arena and been destroyed by CCB Sreegs. So that's another ship down for them. It looks like they're not going to get many more kills, or any more kills, because they'll need carries for damage. So they're going to be stuck right on 12 points and just barely make it in to the next round. So it's a good thing for them that they were able to get the one Aniris kill they did. Otherwise, they'd be in big trouble.
Yeah, power kill from CCP Shrieks in local with stutter included.
So now it's just a case of tracking down this last carries, which the carries really doesn't have any reason to avoid dying, except to keep his relatively cheap ship alive, because the points aren't going to matter anymore at this point. But great job for Verge of Collapse. A very strong win on their part, and great job for Darkside as well, getting enough points to go through. To answer your question from before, I do think that we're going to see high DPS teams from most of the strong teams this day. Both teams in a match like this have to be afraid of getting too few points, so they're all going to want to be bringing high DPS teams that are okay with losing some ships.
Okie doke. Well, that will be the end of the match, and we will see you guys in about 10 minutes with the Godfathers versus the R0 Nin.